This week we begin the book of Exodus. And the first portion, we read about the enslavement of the Jews in Egypt. Pharaoh, a new king, has arisen, doesn't know the Jewish people, and he issues an edict whereby all the Jewish baby boys that are to be born are to be thrown into the river Nile. In response to this edict, there's a Jewish leader by the name of Amram who decides to separate from his wife so that no Jewish babies will be born. He's a leader and the people follow him. Amram has a daughter by the name of Miriam who comes to him and says to him, if you do this, there'll be no Jewish people, there'll be no babies born, there'll be no life. So Amram listens to her and he agrees with her and he comes back together with his wife, and from them come baby Moses. But what I want to point out is the importance of life, whether it's a few seconds, a few hours, a few months, a few weeks, a few years, a lot of years. There's something important to understand that our lives matter and our lives are valuable, infinitely valuable, however long they last. That it's good to be in this world, that this world is the portal through which we can then enter into the next world, the world to come, the Olam Haba. So being in this world gives us access to the next world. The next teaching I want to pull out comes from the encounter that Moses, after he's grown up and he's shepherding his father-in-law's flocks, he has an encounter with a burning bush. He notices this bush is filled with flames and is not being consumed, and he goes over to it, and God calls out to him and gives him a mission that he is the one that God has chosen to be the person, the leader, to bring the Jewish people out from their slavery and their oppression in Egypt. But what does Moses do? He argues with God. He says, I can't do this. This is not my job. I have a speech impediment. There's all these reasons why I can't do this job. And I learned recently that this conversation between God and Moses at the burning bush lasts for a whole week, where Moses is arguing, saying, I can't do it. I can't do it. And God said, no, this is your role. This is what you have to do. And he accepts the role ultimately, but it's his choice to do that. I want to point out this capacity that we all have to say, I can't do something. I can't do that. I can't do this. I don't have the courage. I don't have the skills. I don't have whatever it is that we use to justify not stepping up and taking on a role that we might feel is not comfortable, a comfortable role, or that we may fail at that role, or that we don't have the skills for that role. So there's a balance, obviously, but I think it's important sometimes to overcome the resistance that we have to taking on new projects or new roles and to step into them and to say, I'm going to do the best I can. And with God's help, I'll be successful. But that if I don't choose to take on that role, then I won't have the potential to become the person that I have the potential to be. And it's our choice.